Hey guys, it's Landon here. So for today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about a serious topic here. Obviously, all of the news that has come out about the Chicago Blackhawks, I kind of wanted to discuss it a little bit here on the channel. Now, if you guys don't know anything about it, or you may have missed it, which will be a little bit shocking, but if you somehow have, obviously this does include topics of sexual assault. So if you need a warning and you don't want to watch this video, that is completely understandable. But I did just want to get that out there before we kind of dive a little bit further into the subject. Now, I originally planned on not doing this video at all, and it really wasn't because of the fact that, I didn't think this topic was important, because obviously this is a very important topic, and a lot of people should be talking about it, and it should be out there and kind of known to the public. But the reason that I didn't want to talk about it is because of the fact that, with this channel, I usually like to do things a little bit more positive. I like to have a little bit of fun on this channel. Obviously, this topic is not a lot of fun. And also because of the fact that I felt like I wasn't really qualified to do it, and it is just a uncomfortable conversation and an uncomfortable topic. But over these past couple of days, watching the Kyle Beach interview with Rick Westhead, as well as watching like the Steve Dangle podcast and just some other channels as well, talking about this topic, I kind of realized that that is the issue. Me not talking about it, and people not talking about it because it is uncomfortable, because it is, something that, is not a lot of fun and people don't really want to discuss, is literally the entire reason that it has gotten to this point, and why it is such a big deal is because people don't like talking about it, because it is uncomfortable and it's not fun to talk about. And I know I'm not some like big reporter. I mean, I'm not even a reporter at all, I would say. I'm just a random guy who does YouTube videos, who most of the time it's not even on NHL topics, it's just on hockey jerseys. That's really all I do on this channel. Sometimes I do mix in that NHL topics, but most of the time it's just about jerseys. But even so, I do still find it's very important for me to talk about, and for other people to talk about as well. Even though it is not a fun conversation to have and not a fun video to watch, it's just important talk about, to realize for people who have been in those kind of situations that they're not alone. And hopefully with more people talking about this story, people who have been in those situations maybe feel a little bit more comfortable coming out and talking about their experiences, and hopefully finding justice and peace with what happened to them as well. Now, of course, I want to give big praise to Kyle Beach, who had the courage and the strength to tell his story. I watched the interview with him and Rick Westhead, and that was one of the hardest things I've watched in a very long time, and I do implore you to go and watch it. I'll leave a link to it in the description down below, but I will say this, it is a very difficult thing to watch. I paused it multiple times, I cried multiple times. It is not an easy thing to watch. If you can't watch it, that's very understandable, but if you are able to, and you have the time, I believe it's 26 minutes or something like that, I do recommend you guys go watch it. And it's tough. Like I said, it's a very tough watch, but I think it is important. Now, of course, from all of this, both Stan Bowman and Al McIsaac have stepped down from their positions with the Chicago Blackhawks. They should have been fired. They really should have. And there is a way that you can fire someone without having to pay them. I don't know why they stepped down. I don't know why they let them step down. They really shouldn't have. The NHL and the NHLPA and almost everyone involved have not handled this situation correctly in the slightest. Even 11 years later, I don't think anyone has really handled the situation well at all. They have all kind of dropped the ball at some point in time, whether it be anyone in a management position with the Chicago Blackhawks in 2010, or even the NHLPA. This blows my mind that in 2010, the NHLPA was talked to about this situation. They knew about this situation, and they just chose to ignore it. Or the NHLPA, the NHL Players Association, who were supposed to help protect the players, and they ignored this. I don't understand that. What do you do? What do you do? I don't get it. How is this something that they just ignore? I really don't understand it at all. Even before all of this, I had questions of what the NHLPA actually did. I have even more now. I seriously don't understand what that is there for. Donald Fier, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, but I believe he was the head guy of the NHLPA back then. He still is now. He has yet to be fired or have any sort of consequences. Apparently he doesn't recall that conversation back in the day, which I don't understand at all. I'm not sure how you can forget that conversation about a player being sexually assaulted. That doesn't make any sense to me. And at the same time as well, I also just straight up don't believe him, because there were a ton of people in the Blackhawks organizations who said this summer that They never heard of it before, and they were just hearing about it as the story was being released. But guess what? They all knew about it. Everyone knew about it. Every one of the managers on the team knew about it. All of the players knew about it as well. And the players, like, all of these statements and comments coming from these managers and players and everything like that have come out since that 107-page report was released, all of those statements and comments are despicable and gross. And I just, I don't understand how none of them have a PR team, because none of them looked good, especially Jonathan Toews. His statement, like, blew my mind. I was baffled at the idiocracy in his statement. He was talking about how good of a person Stan Bowman is in his statement, talking about how Stan Bowman covered up sexual assault abuse. What are you saying, man? Why mention that at all? Like, I know he helped your career. Why are you talking about that in the statement? Why are you saying that at all? Just don't mention that. Literally, just straight up don't mention that. It does not matter in this case. He is not a good person. He's not. I don't care if you think that. He is objectively not a good person for covering up sexual assault in his organization. And Jonathan Toews wasn't the only person that just completely missed the point of this entire thing and completely just had an awful statement. I don't think a single one of these statements mentioned Kyle Beach or John Doe 1, because I think a lot of these statements came out before he actually released his own name, but I don't think any of them apologized to him. At least I didn't see any. There has been a lot that has come out over the past few days, so it is very possible that I may have missed a statement apologizing to Kyle Beach, but I don't think I saw a single one just saying, "I'm sorry, I let you down. Everyone let you down. We apologize." I don't think I saw a single one. Like I said, maybe I missed it, but it's insane that not every single one of these statements said that. Every single one of them should have said something along those lines. Actually, it should have been a lot more than just that. That is like the bare minimum, in my opinion. And like I said, I didn't see a single one. It is absolutely disgusting. And another disgusting thing about this situation is the fact that the players knew that this was going on, that the sexual assault had happened, and then they were making fun of Kyle Beach and saying homophobic things to him. I don't have words for that. I don't know what to say. It is disgusting. I don't know what to say. I really don't have words for it. It is mind-blowing. And there has been an issue with hockey culture for a very long time. But one of the things that I thought, at least with hockey culture, is you stick up for your teammates. Apparently not. Apparently not. Apparently that's only a thing in games. It does not matter if it has anything to do with real life. It's mind-blowing. It's baffling. It is disgusting. It is a whole bunch of other words that I don't know. Like, it is, I'm sorry for laughing, but I really do not have words for it. It is disgusting. And it's crazy that in the meetings that the management had talking about the sexual assault, Joe Quenneville said something along the lines of, he doesn't want this to be a distraction, so they shouldn't talk about it, or they shouldn't investigate it. It was something along those lines. Maybe I'll try and put the quote up on screen, but him saying that is, once again, disgusting. And the fact that he was able to coach one more game with the Florida Panthers, I thought was really gross as well. He should have not been able to coach that game between the Boston Bruins and the Florida Panthers. I am glad that he is fired now. Once again, he resigned, so he didn't actually get fired. He should have been fired, but I'm glad that he is no longer working with an NHL team, and I do believe that he should never be able to work with an NHL team again. And I know that he kind of has a way back in with Gary Bettman. Gary Bettman is kind of the guy that will say that if he is allowed to come back in or not. I hope that he never has another job in the NHL, because that is disgusting, and I am shocked that Kevin Sheldayoff still has a job. I don't get how he was not punished at all, because he was also in those meetings. Now, he wasn't the highest position person in that room. I think he was just the assistant general manager, but at the same time, you were in that meeting talking about these sexual assault allegations at that time and did nothing. He is a grown man. He was a grown man at the time. I think he was like in his 40s or somewhere around there, late 30s, early 40s, and he didn't say anything. No one said anything. And no one decided to speak up and say, hey, this is wrong. Hiding this is wrong. Now, with all of the negligence in the Blackhawks organization at the time, not only was Kyle Beach the only victim of Brad Aldrich, but also a 16-year-old boy. He was also sexually assaulted. He was also raped by Brad Aldrich, which is all on the hands of every single person who knew about it in the Blackhawks organization and did nothing. That is on their hands. That is something that they should live with and know they could have stopped that. They could have stopped that from happening, but with their inactions, they made that happen. That is on their hands. That is their fault. and they could have stopped it, but they didn't. They didn't do anything. They didn't want to do anything. They wanted to win the Stanley Cup, and in doing so, they ruined multiple people's lives. I really think everyone who was in that meeting needs to no longer work for the NHL and never work for them ever again. I'm really disappointed in the NHL for not firing Kevin Cheveldayoff. I don't understand that thought process at all. I also don't understand them only finding the Blackhawks $2 million. That's not a lot. That is like the bare minimum, and not even the bare minimum. That is absolutely nothing, I should say, because now I don't know what the proper reparations or how much money you should fine the Blackhawks, or if you should take away picks or whatever. I don't know what the proper fix to that is. I don't think there is one. I don't think fining this organization that's worth like millions and millions of dollars, any amount of money, I don't think that's going to fix anything. I don't think that's going to help anything. But the fact that it was only $2 million is just like the slightest slap on the wrist. It is like absolutely nothing. And just the whole situation, I have a tough time putting it all into words. And like I said, it's kind of the reason why I didn't want to make this video, because I really don't know what to say and what else to say that people haven't already said. But like I said, I do think it's important to talk about this anyways, to get this out there, just in case it does help anyone at all, and it helps shed some more light on the situation, as maybe minimal as it may be with a channel of my size. I do still think it is somewhat important, and that's why I did want to talk about it here today. So that is going to be it for me. I appreciate you guys watching. If you watched this far into the video, the next video will obviously be a lot more fun. But like I said, I do think it was important to talk about this topic here.